Hello and welcome to Resin Art, and welcome to another resin video where I show you again how do I make scratchers. I say I show you again, I'm actually going to do some unique stuff for me. You've probably seen it on other channels if you've been looking around at other resin art channels, but I've never done it with like dyes and inks and stuff like that, so I'm going to see how they work out for me. Let's spin a camera and let's see how I get on with it. So it feels like forever since I've done any resin art, and mainly that's not helped, is it? My skin graft. Quite it's a hot day. So I've got a few bits and bobs. I'm going to do a scratcher for my Dan and Rachel. She loves elephants, so that's going in. If you buy pins, all you got to do is obviously snip off the back. So watch how they do fly everywhere. Bang! So always make sure they fit in the mould. So that's going to be a scratcher for my darling. There is other stuff. Obviously got lots of things in here where I've got things that fit in. And that's gold there, looks quite cool. Yeah, lots of different things I can put in. There are some large ones, which obviously will go in my large moulds. So Junies never say die. I might do one of those. And I'm thinking of doing some ink. So what I'll do is I'll pour some resin in the scratcher, drop some ink, and then I'll just let what happened happen. The other thing I'm going to do is I've got some silicone gel, which I'm quite interested to see how that works. So I'll do the same. So I'll have one where I just drop different color ink in, and one where I drop different color ink in. I'll leave one which is just ink, and then one of them I'll just pour this in and see how it affects it. So I'm hoping it'll have some depth to the color, and yeah, we'll see how that turns out. So you're gonna have some inky ones, some standard ones with things going in. I've got some, look at these cogs. You can't really see it, but I'll pour them out. Oh, clockwork stuff. I'm looking forward to doing some scratches with those. So you'll see like some sort of just random cog in the middle. You have to make sure they really center themselves. That's cool, isn't it? I don't even think that'll fit in there, will it? Well, it does, just. Wow! So I'll put those over there. And I've also got some sparkly stuff, which like little tiny stones. So I'm going to do a match. There is one other that I'll be doing. And good old Timu. When I saw these moulds on Timu, they were big. You'd have ended up with things that like well, that sort of size. And I was like, oh, that looks cool. They are so small. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of resin in. I don't want it too thick. And then I'll put them in a one of these moulds. So I'm really going to have to do it only so far up. But they look cool. They look cool. We'll see how they turn out. Yeah, so we've got a little bit of variety going on. So the first thing I've got to do is mix up some resin. So I've got my gloves, because I would be absolutely bum slapped. I was trying to think of a nice word. Bum slapped. If I didn't wear these, because I don't want to get resin stuff on my what's them called? My skin graft. You should wear gloves anyway. So I'm going to put some gloves on, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up some resin. I'll sort of show you a very quick video of that. I'm going to doing that in my garden because I do not want to do it on the table. God, it's so hot and sweaty. That'll do. That'll do. And you don't want to hear me or see me putting gloves on in such a terrible method. I'm sure there's an easy way of doing that. I've got big hands, you see. Big sweaty hands. Right, let's go to the resin outside. So this is stuff I use. It's 1:1, so however much of that you use that much. Sorry, the bin meant on it just as recording this. So I'm going to pour some of this in one cup, some of that in another cup, and then pour those 2 cups together to make my first batch of resin, and then I'll stir it. What I tend to use is nothing wooden. So I do like using these plastic knives because they're very long and you can just stir. I find you get more bubbles with wooden things, I suppose because it's like tiny imperfections. Resin stirrers are very good, plastic things. Try not to use anything that will create more bubbles than you need. Anyway, it's a nice hot day, my back's burning, so let's get on with mixing up the first batch of resin. 1:1. So if I use 10 ounces of one, I use 10 ounces of the other. Let's do it. Right, so that's the resin mixed. Unfortunately, one of the tubs, I think it was the resin, had some crystallization going on inside. So there was some tiny lumps of stuff. It's not going to pick it up, I'm guessing. You can see a lot of bubbles, but there's every now and then there's tiny little flakes of this crystallization. I flicked most of it out whenever I found it. But yeah, I think it's going to be alright, mainly because I'm adding stuff to it, like colouring, inks. I don't think you're going to really notice it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it, and I'm going to see if it affects how it hardens. But at the moment, I'm just going to leave it for a bit and let most of those bubbles go. But yeah, very disappointing. I think I'm going to have to buy some more resin. But we'll see how this one goes, and if it doesn't look too bad with the ink, like you can't see the little tiny flakes of crystallization, or whatever it is, I don't know, I'm not a chemist. I might be able to use it up because I've got a hell of a lot of it still. It's just, I don't know whether it's age, heat, I don't know. They will see how it works out anyway. It'd be useful for you to see how the resin reacts with that crystallization going on. There we go. Let's move on to the next part. I've already mixed it up, so I'm definitely going to use it. So if you watch my other channel, Life of All Scratch Cards, you probably recognise this, the map of the world. I'm going to start using this for art and get a new one for the scratch cards. So bye bye Russia. And yeah, most of my videos should see the word Russia, and it always made me laugh. As I was like rushing to get the cards scratched. Right, anyway, so what are we doing with this? It's because it's so hot, it's pretty much the bubbles have all gone. There's always going to be the odd few, but we got our handy dandy trusted method of getting rid of them. A little bit of fire. Right, what I'm going to do is pour a tiny bit of resin into each one of these. Ooh, I say each one of these, to most of them. Sorry about that, we have an idiot who drives around on a quad bike, and it's like he knows when he would have the biggest impact, and it's, yeah, just as I'm about to talk. I might speed this up because it's pretty boring watching me pour resin in. I'm trying to do some fill to the top like these two, and some with just a tiny bit, and you'll understand why some with just a tiny bit. Alright, I've got a load of resin left. I need that for later. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these in, and for those of you who've never done anything like this, what you want to be seeing on the scratcher, put it downwards. So for example, in goes the elephant, like thus. So, oh, that's not going to fit, is it? A cogwheel, doesn't matter which way up it goes, so I'm going to put that in there. I will adjust them shortly. I just want a little bit of resin underneath them when they go in. It's like Gears of War, that one. Dunk. Another Goldie. Is there any like a clock? Oh, that'd be awesome if that went in. I should have checked to see if that fitted. Do that for another one. An injury one. What looks like a ship's wheel. Is there any more interesting ones? A little cookie one. I'm wondering if some of the cogs I should do off center. Oh, I love this one. It's like got layers to it, so that's definitely going to go downwards. So we'll put that there. I'll put that one in there. And then I've got some shapes like that. Dungeons and Dragons. So we'll put a Dungeons and Dragons one in there. Actually, I saw some in this bag, didn't I, that I liked. Oh, I've got so many choices. I don't want the big bag, I want the small bag. Definitely going to do that skull. So where's the skull? There it is. I think Anna, you sent me these skulls, I believe. Put the skull in there. And it's such a hot day, I'm gonna have some sunshine. So good old sunshine in that one. And then the others are all to the top. So we're talking about ink now. But before I do that, what I want to do is get a toothpick and position these sort of as central as possible. Don't worry about doing it to the exact millimeter because we're going to have to do it again anyway. So when we put on the next bit of resin, normally what I do is, and I forgot to do it, is I go over the resin when it goes in with the lighter. I completely forgot to do it. It's too late now, these are in there. So again, a learning curve for me. I do like to wiggle them. Oh, it's just off camera that, isn't it? Just so that any air bubbles are out. But, so you can see, oh, I need a big one in there, don't I? And I was gonna do that, weren't I? So in it goes. I'll give it a wiggle and probably see little air bubbles coming out around the sides. I've actually got one more of these actually, haven't I? Let's put a little bit of resin in there. I'm not kidding, the resin in this cup is starting to really heat up in my hand. I can feel it. And I'm going to do the clock. It's good for one thing, it makes the bubbles disappear quick. In fact, there's no bubble, I can't see any bubbles. Right, the ones I've just done, what I'm going to do, oh, it really is, it's almost like too hot to touch. I'm going to now top these up. So resin has a chemical reaction where it heats up. And that causes it to cure. The more resin you have, the more heat you have. So if you're going to do a big piece, bear that in mind. Because what you don't want is it catching fire like it did on one of mine. I say catch fire, it was steaming. I put it outside, I was so worried. That was my first ever resin piece. It's one of my videos earlier. It's the underwater diorama. I don't know if underwater diorama watch. I don't know if I put it as fail in the title. I believe I did. Although I think it turned out alright in the end. What I might do is put another cup under this cup. In fact, I'm going to. I'm not saying that it will melt the cup, but I don't like how hot it is on my hand. And then we jump. It's just the wind caught a door upstairs. What I have is loads of moulds, so whatever I have left over, I'll put in another mould. I've got like skulls, bunny rabbits, all sorts of things. Oh no! Didn't want that much resin, but I think I got away with it. And that's the last one to top up. Yeah, we've got loads of resin. In fact, I'm going to get one of the moulds now, just to empty it out of that cup, because like I said, I am a bit worried about it being so hot. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some of this glitter. No, because it's heavy, it will sink. I can guarantee it will sink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the ink in. So I've got some green. I'm going to put some green ink in here. I hope it hasn't got one of those things where you I have to cut the top off. Let's hope it just drips in. Oh no! I'm going to pause and I'm going to cut the top off. Just realised I was off camera, you can see what I was doing. So I've cut the top off. Let's put some drops in. That really is hot now. I think less is more, so now put a little bit in. I'm just going to stir it and make a lime cordial. And then, where did I put my mould? Where are you? There you are. So it's just off camera. If I angle that, there you go. It's on a bit of a slant. But I'm just going to pour that in now. And make a lime green bear with what's left over. And I always advise that, just have a mould. So when you've got any leftover resin, you can use it for something. Because resin is expensive and the last thing you want to do is just waste it. But I must admit, I think I might have used a slightly too big a mould because it's not quite the top. But that's not an issue because I'm just using up the resin, and that needs, I'll put that in the cup there like that. And I think it doesn't really have to go to the top with this one. Right, just give it a wiggle. What I like to do is make sure it goes into all the nooks and crannies. There we go. And that's me bear. Right, coming back to these. I'm coming back to me toothpick. And I'm just centering things. Yeah, I just realised my mistake. I didn't pour resin on that, did I? And now all I've got is green. Oh, you plank. Although saying that, what I could do, I'm going to do it. I'm going to take one of these and just pull the resin from that in there. There we go. So I've got one less mould being used. What a donut. Dunk. Okay, so let's try and centralise them. Although there is a part of me that wants to make the gears a little bit off centre. But I think that would only really work if you had more than one in the mould. That skull is central, that's perfect. So there, you can come over a bit. You're perfect. You're pretty much perfect. Everything looks good. Right. Ink now. So what I'm going to do is just do this. I'm going to go like a blob of ink. Bonk. Blob of ink. Bonk. Blob of ink. Blob of ink. Blob of ink. Blob of ink. Then we'll do some more colours. And I'm going to do some like resin art. I'm just going to cut the tops off first. I've got blue, I've got red, I've got yellow, purple and white. I'm going to use these. I'm going to use these colours. So again, I'll be back in a sec after I cut these off. Alright, just moving that up slightly so you can see a bit better. So a couple of them like that, it's already sort of weirdly mixing. Some of the others, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir because I want to see what's best. So that gets a stir. That also gets a stir. This gets a stir. That gets a stir. And that one there I'm going to leave. You get a stir, but the opposite direction. You get a stir. I just want to mix them up slightly. You get a stir. You're gonna stir. And what I'm going to do on these ones, I'm going to do zigzags instead of a stir. So zigzags. Just trying different things out. See what works best. Zigzag. Zigzags. Go back to a swirl. Go back to a swirl. Back to a swirl. A bit of everything on that one. Bit of everything on that one. Might have to go back to the videos to see which was which. A swirly one. A ziggy-zaggy one. With a swirl at the end. And then a swirl on that one. Now I'm going to go back to this. And I'm going to see how it turns out with these. I'm only going to do one. I used the other end of the stick. But that's going to run on my hand if I'm not careful. So, bit of a swirl. Yeah, I think I just made a mess with that one. But you never know, we'll see how it turns out. And then last but not least, it's this silicone gel. So I've seen someone else use this and it looked like it went really well. So the trick is, it seemed to be that you only use a tiny little amount. So I'm going to have a tiny little amount in this. And I mean literally, I'll show you how little I've put in a second. That goes back in there. So the oil has an effect with the ink and the resin. So with a cocktail stick, I'm just basically coating the end and then doing that, and it should have an effect. I'm just going to work my way through the process. I don't want too much cross contamination, so I'm going to do these bottom three with it. It's either going to work well or it's not going to work at all. And literally what I'm doing is I'm just seeing what works well and what doesn't work. Bloop. Then last but not least, this just needs a bit of a wiggle, doesn't it? So wiggle. I don't want it to be perfectly coloured. Oh, which is lucky because I don't think I'll be able to. It's so warm today. This is already setting, to be truth be told. Actually, let's do one with red and green. I've got some red on the end there. There we go. Dunk. Let's use a bit of this oil as well. So, give it a stir. Give it a stir. Give it a stir. That's it done. I've got another one where I didn't have enough Oh, you plank. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that one. I'm going to put it in. I'm not very good at this, am I? Alright, that'd be interesting actually. So it's got some normal resin and now it's got the mixed up goopy resin on top. Do you know, I actually quite like that. It might turn out well, it might not turn out well, but I quite like that because it was already pre-mixed. It's quite a nice looking effect. And you could argue that's me just trying to justify my mistake, but I like that. Okay, so all that's left really with these, because it doesn't look like I need to use my flame to pop bubbles, as it looks like it's already got no bubbles, is to let it all set, and they all look like they're central. The cogs and the shapes, maybe that one over here just off camera needs moving, so I get through these cocktail sticks like there's no tomorrow. I probably should be a little bit more economical with them, but they're only like pennies to buy. I can't even remember what that is in there now. Yeah, so what's left is to let it all dry and see how it turns out. Might put too many colours in some of them, but you know, hey ho, it's all about learning. So once I've finished with these, you'll have an idea of how they will work out. So I'm going to put the lids on all these bottles, going to put this somewhere safe for it to set and tidy up. So we'll see you in probably 24 hours when I pop these out the moulds. Right, so pretty much 24 hours has gone by, unlike my sticks, which are set. The scratches have also set, so I get to have a look at them and see how they turned out. So I'm going to start with these, and I'm going to just pop them out, and I'll show you them in a minute. Oh, that's weird. The white's dropped all the way to the bottom. I'll show you all close up in a minute. I'm just going to pop them out, and this is the bit I like. Oh, Rachel's going to be pleased with that. It looks really nice. Just pop them out. It's a really weird, nice feeling. Some will obviously look better than others. Some will look a mess, like that. The white's really dropped to the bottom. So it's done it there, it's done it there, it's done it there, done it there. But the other colours haven't. So something to do with the white, maybe it's heavier. Yeah, it's definitely the white drops to the bottom. But the other colours, down like there, you can't really see the white. Dunk. Very, very weird. Ooh, nice skull. D&D, if you're into that. Unfortunately, I put white in a lot of them, didn't I? No! Alright. Oh, that's... yeah, where I... oh, that's interesting. It's very bendy. But there's hardly anything to it. It's like a millimetre thick. It's where I poured into another mould, isn't it? Oh, Gordon Bennett. No, looks pants. These ones are the ones with the oil. I can tell. It's like I can feel it. And I only put like the minuscule amount on. But they do look strangely nice. I can't get the mould off this one. It's... oh, there we go. I think it's because I've got the oil on my fingers locked there. Oh, that looks quite weirdly nice. I do like that. Yeah, because I'm both sweaty and now oily, I'm struggling to get the moulds off. Yeah, I'm regretting the white. Although at least I found it out. Oh, that looks pretty cool. Would have been nice if it was more central, but that's pretty cool. Like a watch in a vortex. Right, we haven't got many more to go, but we'll pop them out. Might speed this bit up. Yeah, so lots of little faces. I think they're too thick because you can see the thickness of them. Because I was thinking of maybe having them within a scratcher, although I suppose I could have them sitting proud, couldn't I? Well, that'd be quite cool. So they're sort of in the scratcher but sitting proud of it. Oh, I like that idea. It'd be very tactile if I'm going to do that. Oh, I don't know how it would actually. Yeah, so there you go. So we did lots of swirly patterns and I think they turned out really nice. Some better than others, as you can probably see. And the white's dropped lower than the other colours. Very cool though. I do like that one. Where's another one which done it? Some of them, meh. Some of them, oh no, that's my favourite. That is my favourite. So you can hardly see the white on that side. Yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do some more of these. Now that I've learned about the white, I think there's some things I can do actually. Like here, got like the red vortex, you've got the white. I could literally maybe tiniest little dots of white so it drops to the bottom, but with like a red and a blue swirly pattern above it. So like the cosmos, and the whites would be the stars. That is so cool. It reminds me of the marbles when I was a kid. These ones with the oil, meh, not so impressed. Although they're quite nice, there's nothing wrong with them. Good old faithfuls, they come out nice. And these, very nice. And when I said about the crystallization, that was in the tub for when I poured. It didn't make a difference. It actually sort of like, I don't know, dissolved. Do like that one. That's a pretty cool cog. Yeah, they turned out really nice. I'm going to find something to do with these. The only issue I have is I was thinking about having it so like the faces are flush. The only way I could do that would be to like stick it on, maybe some UV resin. Yeah, that might work. But I'm not going to mess around with it today because I am boiling hot. Last but not least, let's take out the teddy bear. I know it didn't go. Oh, it didn't go all the way to the bottom. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to fill up the rest of the way with some other resin next time I get some extras. Teddy, you can carry on sleeping. But yeah, very happy with how they turned out. There's only one that's a bit pants, and it's sadly this one, because you can see where there's a massive bubble. And sadly, that does happen with anything that's got lots of bits and bobs on it. But it will still work as a scratcher when I do it for my channel. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And where is it? That one. That is stonking. I bet the camera doesn't do it justice. It really has turned out nice. It's cool. It's cool, and it's unique. There'll never be another one like it. And that's the cool thing about doing stuff like this. I mean, some of them, meh. That's pretty awesome as well. Yeah. Some of them won't turn out brilliantly. I'm not going to use the oil again for this thing. I'm going to avoid the oil, so I end up with that, because that's the effect I got with the oil. But that's cool. Although that one turned out all right with the oil. Maybe with just 2 colours next time. But yeah, there you go. So there you go. Please leave a like if you enjoyed that. Have a go yourself. Email me at not Lifeapple, that's me other channel. Email me at backbedroomart with a picture of what you do if you do it with the ink. And be sparing with the ink. That's the other thing I learned. Yeah. But yeah, awesome stuff. And if you're interested in any of these, well, email me again at backbedroomart. They are up for sale. I normally sell them for £10 each. So if there's one of them that you like, yeah, just let me know. And you will see in a future video what I do with these little faces. I don't know if you can quite make it out on the picture on the camera. Maybe if I focus in, I don't know if that's got it. But yeah, they're just like little faces. I do like the idea of doing that with them though, I'm sticking them on. Anyway, that's for another project. Anyway, look after yourself and those you love, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye! Actually, it's not the end. Here we go, we've got some more. So I've done another batch of resin, I've topped this up, and look, I've poured some more resin into the things for the scratchers. There is glitter in some of them, so I'll just quickly show you how I did it. Nothing absolutely mind-bogglingly difficult. So I just put a little bit of resin in. Dunk. Picked the glitter that I wanted. Nothing mind-blowing. I'm sure you'd go like, well, dirt pool, I could have figured this out without you showing me. And then just poured a load in. And you need more than you think. And then obviously stirred it, trying to capture all the little escapees. If you put too little in, you get too many gaps, and I think it's personal preference. Do you want big gaps between your little glittery stones, or would you prefer it to be a little bit more filled? So it is a hot day, so the window's open, and every kid likes going by on their scooters. But there you go. So boom, little stir around, make sure it goes up against the edges, and then leave it to set. There is one here where I've used cigarette ash, because my darling likes to smoke, so that's cigarette ash. And with the last of the resin, what I've been doing, if you look at my other video channel, and I'm going to be careful how I hold this over, I don't want it to go everywhere, I've been collecting the scratchings from scratch cards. So I'm going to pour that into here. Actually, I'm going to slightly off camera, just in case it goes all over what I've already done. Ta-da! And I'm just going to mix that up. And you get lots of different colours. You get reds, yellows, blues, greens. Think of scratch cards. I think of all the different colours you see in scratch cards. Those shavings have now gone into this. And I'm just mixing up, basically, paste. Although this is a little bit less pasty than I'd like. I think there's a little bit too much resin in there, but it'll still work. So now I can do some scratches using the shavings from scratch cards. So blop. And then blop. And bloop. These make very good scratchers. And I've also got a little mould. It's a pig, and I'm actually going to fill this little fella up now because I want him to be complete. I don't want to run out of resin for him. I get it all the way to the top, and thing to I'm going to make it a scratcher anyway. Thing to do is give it a squeeze and let it go into all the nooks and crannies. Where you got to be careful is things like ears. So I tend to make it go everywhere by giving it a squeeze. Right, let's make some more scratches. Bloop. Oh, a bit too much. Try not to overfill because you end up with concave instead of convexed. Yeah, you want it slightly below the top and then it dips down rather than dips up. And the dippy up bit gives you your scratchy edge. So don't put too much in. I can do 3 more. Do-ba-do-do-do. Do-ba-do-do. One last one. I was thinking, should I put some stones at the bottom? No. Yes. Yes, I will. Yes, I've got some gold ones. You know what? On a whim, let's just put some gold coins at the bottom. Gold coins. I wish there were gold coins. Gold flecks. It's like tiny little coloured stones. Let's hope that shines through. Hopefully I haven't just made a big hole in the middle. Yeah, that'll do. So I've got a little bit of mixed up resin, so I'm going to find one more mould, but that is pretty much it. And I'm just going to move you more over to the edge. I'll get one more mould. I think I've got like a reindeer or something. Yes, I do. A little reindeer. It's a bit bigger than that one. I might not be able to fill him up, but actually I think I will be able to. And yes, I should be wearing gloves, but I wore the gloves throughout most of the process. Just the pouring at the end. So we're up to his nose, now his mouth, his body, his feet, and we are done. One last drip, and there we go. So all these now just have to set. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to keep an eye on them. Sometimes they slide a little bit, and it's worth keeping an eye on them. So what you don't want is like the bat symbol off-centered or something. And yeah, we'll see how we go. But a little bit of ink on that one. And there's a skull under there with stones on top. So I did a variety of things to see how they turn out, but I've gone for classic old pin badges upside down in the scratchers. So 24 hours and I'll pop these out and you can see them. So, and what I do like is this here, and I've got a bit left over. I'll know when that's set because that'll be set. Right. Right. Actually, I'm going to see if I've got one more mould for him, but I'm not going to bother that on camera. Yeah, let's wait 24 hours. See you in a sec. Right, pretty much 24 hours has passed and these have set. I wouldn't use them for scratching for another 48 hours. So like these ones that I've made previously, completely cured and solid. Been scratching away with these and worked really nicely. The little bulldog, I actually poured out what was in it because I'm going to use this for a future video or a future project. So I've now got quite a few scary faces, which I'm going to use when I make some more of these. So like almost like coming out. Because I'll be honest with you, and you'll see it in a second when I get it out, this is absolutely spooky. Gives me the heebie-jeebies. So that's nice. Yeah, gonna have to get all that out. Because it's coated around there, it's like... Ooh. Well, this is going to be interesting. Because I sort of squeezed it out, it's lined the outside but never really filled it up. So I've got a resin... Ooh, do you know what? I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to fill that because I have absolutely lined the inside. That's another project. So these two things I'm going to put aside for another project. Everything else, well, let's have a look how it turned out. I've got my piggy pig that I made using the shavings from scratch cards. With these, you want to be careful of the edges because they are quite sharp. So I will file them down. But I've got a pig. It's always fun trying to get these off. They're more, or tougher rather than you'd think. So you can be quite rough with them. Hey, look at him. Look at that little fella with a little apron on. And his chubby little cheeks. Oh, it feels so nice. I tell you what, it really does feel nice. I am a very tactile person, and that is very nice. I wonder how this has turned out. And it's a jolly old little reindeer. And I'm terrible at doing Christmassy stuff when it's nowhere near Christmas. And then not doing any Christmas stuff when it's Christmas time. I'm like the opposite of the shops, really. See, he is. Or his horns or antlers or whatever you call them. Ah, he's adorable. I absolutely love him. And again, oh, I feel so smooth. So solid. Right, anyway, they were what I used with leftover resin. Mind you saying that, there was also the bear. Should we see how the bear turned out? And it's quite an interesting thing for me because I didn't have enough of the green resin to actually fill it completely to the top. So after it's set, I poured in some clear resin at the bottom. And I was interested to see how that looked, how it turned out. Oh. You can't even tell, to be honest. It's clear at the bottom. And it's just lovely. That is lovely. I do like that. I like that a lot. And that was just leftover resin. Look how the different facets, the different edges catch the light in different ways. I do like that. I like that a lot. Yes, yes, sirree. That is very good. Let's put this one side. So let's see how the normal scratches turned out. First of all, so we have a rabbit. We have positive pants, and if you ever watch my main channel, you'll know what that's all about. I was looking forward to this one. I hope it's got no bubbles. No? It's all good? Thinking of you. So, everyone is a surprise. I'm telling you, Christmas. I am terrible at doing stuff ready for Christmas. This is a ticket. Tiny little bubble. Actually, a couple of tiny little ones. You get that sometimes, and it's disappointing. But most, nope. And it's just because when you put the shape in, like this ghost, for example, if it catches a bubble underneath, like this one has got a couple of bubbles, but to be honest, it doesn't ruin it. It if anything, makes it slightly unique. But that's got a slight little couple of bubbles. And that doesn't. No bubbles at all. I do like that one. Perfect for Halloween. Reach for the stars. Like that one as well. A rabbit going out in its wellies. Very nice. I think this is another ghost one. Oh no, it's a cat. A Christmas cat. Oh, lots of bubbles in this one. Yeah, around here. Just around here. But again, it's still fine. Notice the different how they sound. So, more solid, less solid. But that will continue curing. It doesn't matter if taking them out. They'll continue curing. Oh, yeah, that one's come out right. Slightly positioned higher than I'd have liked. I liked it a bit lower, but it still looks cool. Another sort of ghosty one, Halloweeny. Yeah, that's come out perfect. Very nice. And a cog. I think I'm going to lose these molds soon. I've used them so many times, they're starting to get a little bit brittle. And that is ever so slightly off center. But again, it still looks amazing. I do like that. And then we come to these fellas. Now this one, believe it or not, cigarette ash. So if I hold it up over the white, look at that. That's just cigarette ash. I thought, interesting. Thought I'd see how it turns out. Yeah. And this, and I'm going to pop them all out. Or a few out. These are just scratcher shavings. Ooh, this one wasn't. Oh, this is basically gold little stones, and then with the shavings from scratchers, and I poured that on top of these. That looks quite nice. I like that. And again, I bet it looks better in real life. I know it looks better in real life than on the camera, but it's just the way the light catches it. I do like that. I rate that a lot. And then I think I just got to load more of them. So it's just scratcher dust. And whizzing through. They're all the same, so it's just going to be what you've already seen. What you've already seen. And then we come to the coloured stones. So this is quite dark coloured stone. Yeah, it's very nice. I was a bit concerned about the purple because it's so dark. See, that is much nicer. A much lighter colour, and there's gaps. I do like having the gaps. I think having too much in there. Yeah, and I like the lighter colours. This is a mix, so I did reds and greens, and luckily there's gaps in that as well. That looks very nice. And what else we got? And that's just with the red ones. I like the way that the coloured stones have bled their dye into the resin, so it's coloured the resin slightly. That's very nice. And then there's a goldy one. All that glitters is not gold. Yeah, they're turning out really nice. Done some skulls. Gordon Bennett. And again, they come out really nice. They're very nice. And we've got a couple more here. Got obviously Batman. One tiny bubble on the green stripe. Oh well. And then we got a skull with glitter around it. Very interesting. A skull where I've done like ink behind it. There's like, that's interesting. So there's like almost like he'd been put there and moved. He's like rushing through a vortex. You can actually see a bit of it. I know when he was off-centered, I moved him, so I think basically he sort of left an impression of his skull. That's quite an interesting effect. And another skull. Interestingly, because it's not enamel and it's almost like painted on top, I think the paint has bled a bit. So it's a very spooky looking skull. You can still see it's a skull, but it just looks very weird and wonderful. And what I did with this one is I layered the ink on the top so that there's like almost like a 3D effect. I'm going to try that again with the ink on the top so it doesn't sink. So I do like that. It's a very nice effect, very 3D-ish. But I think I'll do it with an enamel pin badge, but smaller. And last but not least, the one that's really, to me, is really spooky. So it's got the face sticking out. I don't know if you can see that, if it's picking it up. But it's like it's sticking out. So you got the face, and it just is a little bit freaky. I'm not a big fan of that. I'd loved it to the face being down, but the nature of it not being flat and it being thicker than the actual coin itself, if I'd done it downwards, I'd have had a weird backing bit. Anyway, and that's the back side of it. So these are all the scratchers out of their molds, and don't they look amazing? Basically, you've got the shavings from scratch cards. So every time I scratch a scratch card off, I keep the shavings, and they were mixed in. You saw me do it earlier on, and they look very nice. And what better way to scratch a scratch card than with a scratcher made out of scratchings? So with the little stones, I'm not too keen on the dark ones, especially when I put so much in. Because I put so much in, it's what's the word? You know, you can't see through it. So I don't think that's worked so well. So if, the ones I showed earlier, like the green glittery ones, that's better. I do like that. That works really well. So less is more. I think having enough in there, so it sort of covers the bottom, but there's gaps in between, is the way to go. I do like the mix. That's okay. I think a better colour combination would have been better, but it's back page of art. I'm just experimenting. So for me, definite works. I like that as well, but again, it's got the gap, so definite works. I like having the ink there on top, so you get like the 3D effect with the skull. That is very nice. I do like that. It's not the method's fault that the skull, the ink on it bled, because again, like say you had the Batman logo and with, I don't know, a black swirl behind it, that would look really, really nice. So that's another one I like. So that's going there. Yeah, that just freaks me out. That freaks me out. Something to think about for the future. And then, yeah, the normal things that I do, yeah, they work really well. So I'll carry on making those. Oh, I did like that though. The stones in the scratcher resin, that turned out really nice. I do like that. That looks very, very grown up, very posh. So yeah, so there you go. So this is definitely the end. I'm not going to say where I'm going to go like, and we're going to have some more. This is definitely the end. I'm not going to do any more. This is enough for one video. So if you enjoyed seeing me make all these things and the little figures and the big old teddy bear, I do like that teddy bear. That really turned out nicely. Let me know in the comments. Please hit that like button. It really will help my channel out. And I have got some things to do. I've got an idea to do with this, and I like the way that worked out. Basically what I did when I poured the resin in, I poured it out, and to get it all out, I was squeezing it. And because I squeezed it, it's coated up all the sides, and it's set. So I can put something inside. I mean, I could try and just take out the mould and have it thin there, but I think filling that up with something. So that's the future art product. Same with these freaky faces. So there is stuff coming up, so make sure you hit that like button, please subscribe, and I will see all of you beautiful, lovely people in another video real soon. Ciao everyone, bye!